Okay, guys, very welcome back to the show, and I'm delighted to have a very special guest on the show here today, Steve Maclin, a wrestler from TNA. We are here today to discuss the TNA Plus app and the great opportunities that you have to view TNA all over the world now. But Steve, firstly, thanks a million for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. And yeah, let's talk TNA Plus app 2025 TNA and what's going to happen in the new year.
Yeah, so we'll kick off with the app now. Obviously, in the wrestling world, it's been a massive week with obviously WWE, Netflix, and we're kind of moving into a new era. And TNA are also moving into that new era. So for people that are not aware of the app, then do you want to kind of break down what it is, what's available on the app, where it's available, etc.?
So the TNA Plus app, and it's funny, it's 9.99, at least US dollars. But it's you can the library is just from the beginning until now, up until this Genesis pay-per-view on January 19th. That's going to be in Dallas, and it's just the library is everything that you have ever wanted of TNA wrestling, and anything you think of TNA wrestling is on that library on the app. And it just gives you access to everything from behind the scenes exclusive content as well. I know Gia has her around the ring, which is different, like ways to get interacted with the talent itself, whether you see them on screen or off screen, you get to know them a little bit better. And it's just a great way to watch every pay per view, especially with Genesis coming up here on the 19th. And then we have Rebellion that's going to be out in LA. And then we have also Slammiversary that's going to be in New York this year. So it's just TNA's moving on to bigger and better things here as the rebrand from 1 year exactly until now. It's pretty crazy to just think of a year ago. And here we are going into 2025 and getting ready for these big pay per views.
Yeah, it's been a massive year for TNA, and it's been seen all across the world. Like they did do a few dates in the UK last year as well, and we'd be hoping to kind of see more of that internationally. Is that something you understand might be on the cards as well as watching it virtually on the app, etc.?
I hope so. Just getting over to the UK, to Europe in general, and then Japan, just anywhere outside of the US right now would be really good to just get out tours because there's a fan base everywhere. And now with the app being there for everybody internationally to watch us, and it just gives a better the fan base a better way to be able to have access to us on every mobile device or tablet. It's just kind of crazy that it's in the palm of your hands. You can just watch us. So it's kind of funny, and it's always funny. Everybody always asks like, "Oh, how do I watch TNA?" I'm like, "TNA Plus app." It's like just the easiest way to go. Just go download it, subscribe. You get everything you need out of it. But hopefully we make it overseas in the new year. I'm looking forward to that. I know I vouch for it a lot when I always kind of say, when are we going to UK? When are we going to Germany? When are we getting out of the States, please?
Yeah, and a lot of your guys are actually coming in and out of Ireland at the moment. Trent Seven is currently our European champion. I think Moose is coming here to our Royal Rumble in a few weeks. So it's good.
Nice.
It's good these days that you have such a good relationship, not only with the independents but with the big companies as well. Like it must be a really exciting time to be a wrestler in TNA.
Yeah, it's just exciting time to be a professional wrestler in general, especially whether it's TNA, WWE, AEW, CMLL, just Japan, New Japan, just Noah is starting to boom again. It's kind of building up that. So it's just good to see for talent all over the world to have those opportunities to work somewhere and to be seen by fans. And I don't know how wrestling fans do it nowadays, just because there's so much to watch.
Yeah.
And it's like even for me, I try to watch every show each week, and I just get tuned out sometimes because I'm like, I don't, I don't care for this much. What's the story here? Oh, there's no story. Don't need to watch. But then sometimes something will catch my eye as a fan still, and I'll be like, oh, okay, this is interesting to watch. So I don't envy wrestling fans of well of how much wrestling there is out there. But hopefully you watch on the TNA Plus app. That's what you need to watch is just TNA.
And in terms of yourself then and how the business has evolved since when you started to where we are now in this kind of more digital media era, like can you
Mhm.
describe that transition from when you began wrestling to where we are now and the differences?
So when I started training in 2012, social media was still like new to me because I never really had Instagram or Twitter. I had a Facebook, but then once I got into wrestling, I got rid of all my social media, so I didn't have like a civilian life. I was separate from that, and I was becoming who I was supposed to be.
Yeah,
And then I realized, oh wow, I need a Twitter, I need an Instagram to promote. And with my time in WWE, when I first got there, is when the app there, the WWE app, was starting to be a thing. And of course, 9.99 then, promoting that now with the TNA Plus app of 9.99. Um, but it's just funny how full circle that is. But like it was a different time, and like they just jumped the ball then, but now they jumped the gun then. But now here we are, 2025, and TNA Plus app is the best way to watch TNA. And I make the best ability out of using social media, the app, being able to go watch matches of my own on the app, watch the pay-per-view from the night before to critique my own work and what could I do better and just see things for myself. But then also try to watch some of the old stuff and try to take from that and take from the Bobby Roods or the Samoa Joes, the Austin Aries, the AJ Styles, and just kind of take from them. And then also going back and watching a match of like Frankie Kazarian and then being able to just talk to him because I share the locker room with him, EY, who's my partner. And it's fun to go back and just see how their growth from where they were then to now is, and just having that library there is so it's just I think we take it for granted in a way to be able to have at the tools and all that knowledge at our hands to just take in. But it's just funny how technology just keeps changing, and here we are in the new age of Raw, Netflix, TNA on the app, and we just got the UK or not the UK in Canada. We're going to be on Sky Sports, from what I understand. It's just getting better for TNA in the new year, especially with 2025, and it's from 24 then to now is just incredible for the leaps that we made. Crowd sizes are getting bigger. It's awesome. It's awesome to be a part of, and it's just fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I heard PCO was doing an event in Canada. I think it was the back end of last year, and you had to keep
Yeah.
increasing the arena size there because the demand was just there.
Yeah, in Montreal for Slammiversary, that was something cooler than just because I love the bigger crowds. As intimate it is with a small crowd, it is the bigger the crowd is, the more comfortable I feel. When it's a little bit everybody feeling on top of you, you're just like, oh, well, all right, maybe this will work, maybe this won't. Who knows, kind of thing. But you try to go out there and deliver the best you can. But having those bigger buildings, that's where you feel like the pro wrestler, what you dreamed of as a kid, is the bigger arenas and coming down that long 20-foot aisle and having your full on entrance and just soaking it in, enjoying the crowd and just looking around at a sea of people that just, it's crazy that you can get that many people in one spot at one time and just to go entertain them.
Yeah. In terms of going full circle, like we seen with the WWE Royal Rumble last year, Jordan Grace entered that Royal Rumble. For you to have a full circle moment and come back into a Rumble, would that be something that you'd be interested in? You know, with the good relationship with the companies, would you be open to doing a Royal Rumble?
If that opportunity arose, yeah, yeah, I would jump at that right away. There's a lot of talent there that I've dreamt of working with. There are people that I have worked with that I want to work with again. But at the same time, my focus is very much on TNA. So if it was to happen, it happens. Like I said, I would jump on that opportunity. But my focus right now is on Genesis, which is coming up on the 19th. And I'm very much looking forward to what that is. And you kind of see where I'm going to be at that in the next few weeks on TNA. If you watch it on the TNA Plus app for television for Impact. So tonight you have myself, EY, and Gresham versus the system of Fandango or Dirty Dango,
Yeah.
Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards. And it's us against the system. So it kind of sets up for where we're going for in the future in 2025 and how we're setting the tone for 2025.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about the TNA Plus app, about that back catalog of stuff. Like we're lucky here on Sky Channel 186 now on Wednesdays and Saturdays. We can kind of get a glimpse of retro TNA over here. But as you
Oh,
said,
it's awesome.
if you get the app, you will have everything.
Yes. It's there at all times, 24/7. You can watch it only for $9.99 a month.
There you go. That's a nice little plug there, and we're gonna talk about more crossovers outside of WWE. Like, is there any other places probably around the world that you'd like to go back to or visit for the first time, either with TNA or as an independent talent from across the world?
Well, I'm getting booking schedules right now as an independent for the independents as well for over in the UK and a tour of Europe. Just to get there in March, April timeframe, and then possibly October as well. So I'm trying to get out on my own as well to take advantage of being able to work independence and go see what talent is out there and experience those experiences that I never got to do going over for 2, 3 week tours and just traveling everywhere in Europe and just being able to appreciate it more too with where I am in my career and then also just enjoy life. That's the cool part of our business. I think people don't really take advantage of is when you get to travel pretty much for free as you're getting paid to go work. You want to go see the things that people dream of seeing or don't ever get the chance to in life, so you take advantage of it. But then going forward for where I would love to work as a company, if it was with TNA working with other people, Japan, New Japan would be great. Noah, I know, is another place to work in Japan. I'd love to go down to Mexico. I'd love to go back to Puerto Rico. I've had a lot of fun down there. It was a different, very different vibe of fan base compared to everywhere I've worked too. It was almost kind of UK, kind of singing songs and kind of really high energy and just can dictate the match a little differently. So it's kind of fun to just toy with those things. But getting to Japan is one of my top list priorities of either on my own or with TNA.
And hopefully Ireland at some point as well, where a lot of
Ireland, yeah. Sorry if I left Ireland off there. Uh, but Japan, just for some reason, just for my time in NXT, I got to meet a lot of guys that were in Japan for a while with Mikey Nichols and Shane Thorne. Those are two guys that are really good friends of mine in TMDK, and just getting to know them, and then they kind of like I knew what Japanese wrestling was, and I've watched it, but they kind of really sucked me into it and just put my eyes onto it, and I fell in love with it in that style, and I think I would mesh very well there and have a lot of fun in Japan. So that's just kind of one of my top priority goals selfishly on my own. But to get to Ireland would be amazing, and I have to probably bring my mom with me on that tour because that's her dream vacation. So
we'll have to find a promoter that's going to book her over. She can be your manager that weekend.
that'd be amazing. My mom would love every minute of that.
Yeah. I seen a really cool promo earlier when I was kind of looking back through what you've done lately on the TNA YouTube channel, and I just wanted to scope what people were thinking of it underneath. Like it was the kind of retro one, and they were saying, could this be a rebirth of your character? Are you going down a different direction? Do you think things are going to move differently for you in 2025 in any kind of way?
Oh, no, I'm always going to be the same man that I am, whether you agree with my decisions or not, or what I do in the ring. I do what I feel is right in my head, and what I feel is I'm just always going to stand my own. I'm going to plant my feet and stand my own ground on the things that I believe in. But for me, for that vignette, it was a full circle moment of just getting out the idea that I had for a long time. And even when I first got to TNA, when it was Impact, Robert Evans was behind the scenes, one of the head writers. And I mean, I kind of gave him the idea. I was like, how could I take from the Apocalypse Now movie and kind of make that my own?
Mm.
And we just started kind of toying with ideas, and he left. And then Eric Tompkins was behind the scenes now. Um, one of my good friends as well, and just I can bounce off ideas, and he gets where my head is at with certain things, and that's how that video came about. Where I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I want to go to this. How do we make this work? And then with EY and I telling our story, it kind of worked perfectly into where we needed to be for the storyline and telling that trust story for between a tag team and how two guys become partners and can have trust in one another. So it just kind of worked out perfectly, and it's not mostly a rebirth. It's just kind of more of a microscope more of looking at who I am as well now, because it's very hard for me to articulate sometimes verbally with who I am and what I'm trying to come across. But I think what the video did in that 6.5 minutes that we all pray to have at some point in our careers just for a promo itself is was really cool moment to have, and for people to kind of understand where my head is at of who I am and where I'm going in the new year, especially with kind of being a more babyface role.
Do you see yourself being in the kind of tag team role, or would you prefer kind of singles role, or kind of mesh of both for the year? Or what way is 25 looking in your head?
Gold is in the future, whether it's tag team gold, world title gold. That's my goal. And EY knows it. I know he wants the world title as well. Who wouldn't? Like, you know what I mean? Like, even as partners, you're gonna still have that respect factor. Like, go for it, man. And if it comes down to he and I for the title at some point, so be it. We know what the biggest prize in the company is, and that's the TNA world title. There's no, it's business.
Yeah.
There's no hate or a grat. Like, you're just, it's business. That's all it is.
I seen just an article there when I was researching today as well about they picked up on an interview that you'd done. I can't remember who it was with, but it was like they asked you about Joe Hendry, and you said, "I don't care about Spotify. I care about wrestling."
Yes.
But what
But
do you
that's
think
just
of what?
that's the way it is though for me. That's just how my mind is. I worry about the pro wrestling. He's obviously tapped into a different audience, which has helped him and elevate his career, which is so awesome for him because he's a good dude. But I don't care about. I don't sing. I didn't get into wrestling to be a singer or a performer. I got into wrestling to kick the crap out of people, and I think I do a pretty good job at that.
Yeah. What do you think of that? Do you think he's done a good job at kind of maybe getting more eyes wherever he goes? I
Uh,
suppose as an
no,
individual.
Joe has done. He's didn't. I'll never knock on anybody's hard work or what they do. He's killed it with everything he's put his mind to, and he's just I think he's just starting to also figure it out in a way too, where it's okay, this really works. So now how do I elevate that kind of where do I go from here kind of thing? And that's the fun part for us as entertainers is okay, cool. I'm here now. How long is this going to last? And how do I make this even better? How do I make this grow? What's the next slice of that onion? Like where are we peeling this layer back to get to kind of thing? And that's where my head always goes to. And that's also with my vignette of like, it's just another layer I got to put out there for people to have eyes on and understand me a little bit more and invest in me.
Awesome. Look, Steve, I'd like to thank you today for the opportunity. I really enjoyed the chat. And before we finish up, some other time I'd like to get you back on maybe for a longer interview and we could discuss different things throughout your career.
Yeah.
I do kind of a lot of backstory interviews from beginning to end, we'll say, and bits in between. So maybe sometime we could do that. But to close off the TNA Plus app, let's do it again.
TNA Plus app, 9.99. Get it now. I know internationally that's the best way to watch Impact every Thursday night, and then also watch every pay per view, especially with Genesis coming up on January 19th. And then we also have Rebellion, which is going to be live in LA. And then we have Slammiversary that's going to be up in New York, which I'm very much looking forward to that one as well, just because it's kind of my home in the tri-state area, being a New Jersey kid, and then here we are in New York City. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And if you don't follow me at Steve Maclin on Instagram and at Steve Maclin on X. And then I'll shop TNA Impact Zone for merchandise for Steve Maclin, and also my Pro Wrestling Tees is Steve Maclin store.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you very much.